Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are putting a name to a frustration I'm pretty sure a lot of us are feeling these days, that creative block you get when you're staring at an all-powerful AI. And it turns out, this feeling, it's got a history, and it's a surprisingly scientific one.
So, picture this. You sit down in front of one of the most powerful creative tools ever made. I mean, this thing can write a novel, it can design a city, compose a symphony. All it needs is your command. And you got nothing. The potential is literally infinite, but your brain just hits a wall. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are definitely not alone.
Well, believe it or not, this specific kind of frustration actually has a name, Promptitus frustrata. The official definition is, well, it's a mouthful, but basically, it's that sinking feeling of disappointment you get when you can't come up with a good prompt, even though you have this incredible tool just waiting. It's the gap, right? Between the AI's insane power and the sudden total silence from your own imagination.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? Are we just slapping a fancy pseudo-Latin name on a passing feeling? Or is Promptitus frustrata something more? Is it real? Well, the answer goes way deeper and much further back than you'd probably guess.
To really understand this, we have to jump in the time machine. And I mean way back. Before the AI tools we have today were even a glimmer in Silicon Valley's eye. We're about to uncover a really old and kinda shocking origin story.
Yep, you heard me. 1996. More than a quarter of a century ago, long before generative AI was a thing anybody talked about, someone was already thinking about the unique kind of brain freeze it would cause.
The person who came up with this was a researcher, Dr. Richard Borman. And get this, he wasn't studying AI that existed. He was running a thought experiment. He was imagining a future with what he called generative machines of intelligence and was trying to predict the weird psychological quirks that would pop up.
And this quote, man, it just nails his entire idea. Borman saw that the real problem wouldn't be the machine failing us, but us freezing up in front of the machine. He predicted this exact paradox, that infinite power could lead to human paralysis. It wasn't about the tech. It was about our own psychology when faced with it.
And this wasn't some random one-off thought. You can actually watch Borman develop this idea over years. It starts in '96 with the term itself, in a paper that wasn't even published. Then, in '99, he's writing about choice overload at the interface. And finally, in 2001, he publishes a piece that directly contrasts classic writer's block with this new thing he called prompt block.
Okay, so let's fast forward from the 90s to right now and really break down the anatomy of this thing. Because what Borman predicted in a thought experiment, researchers today are defining with almost clinical precision.
And the symptoms? They are so relatable. I mean, who hasn't felt this? There's that sudden, total blankness, that nagging feeling that your own imagination just isn't good enough. Or you keep typing in really simple, trivial ideas like a cat in a hat. And my personal favorite, that classic avoidance move of just staring at the blinking cursor.
So what's actually causing this? Well, researchers think it's a mix of a few things. First, we put all this pressure on ourselves to do something incredible with this powerful tool. Then there's classic choice overload. I mean, when you can ask for literally anything, how do you pick just one thing? And of course, there's that social pressure to be original, especially when you see all the amazing stuff other people are making.
But here is the good news. You are not stuck with it. It's totally manageable. There are some really practical strategies you can use. Taking a quick break is huge. So is starting with simple, low-stakes warm-up prompts. But my favorite has to be step 3. Think of it as an experiment, not a performance. It's all about just lowering the stakes.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. Because Promptitus frustrata doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It is deeply, deeply connected to very real, well-studied psychological concepts.
So the first thing you might think is, isn't this just writer's block for the AI age? And yeah, it's close, but there's a really key difference. Writer's block is an internal struggle, you against the blank page. Promptitus frustrata is an external one. It's triggered by the overwhelming power of the tool, which then makes us feel like we're not good enough. It's a subtle difference, but it's a huge one.
And this is where it all clicks into place academically. Promptitus frustrata plugs right into these established ideas. It's directly linked to decision paralysis, having so many options you just choose nothing. It is a textbook case of choice overload, just like researchers find when you give people too many jam flavors to choose from. And it's a perfect example of techno-stress, that unique anxiety we get when we're trying to keep up with powerful new tech.
So all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most important part of our explainer. Where is this all going? What's next for this once obscure idea?
So let's be crystal clear about this. What started as a quirky thought experiment back in 1996 is not just a historical fun fact anymore. Promptitus frustrata is now being treated as a real condition, and it's being studied seriously by researchers in psychology, human-computer interaction, even healthcare.
And this field is just exploding. There's a whole wave of new research papers, even clinical trials, that are expected to come out very soon. So what we know about this isn't set in stone. We are literally at the very beginning of unpacking this thing scientifically.
And all of this leaves us with one final, huge question to chew on. Dr. Borman predicted this paradox of us freezing in front of a powerful machine. So as these machines get exponentially smarter, are we going to find better ways to work with them? Or is that gap between their potential and our prompts just going to get wider? It's a question really not just about technology, but about the future of our own creativity.